Tamil language.
நீங்கள் அதிமுக கட்சிக்காரர்களை, அவருடைய தலைவர்களை, அவருடைய கொடிகளை பார்க்கும்போது தெரிந்து கொள்ளுங்கள், அவர்கள் முழுவதுமாக நரேந்திர மோடியும் அமித்ஷாவிடத்திலுமே சரணடைந்து விட்டார்கள். அவர்களுடைய கரப்ஷன், அவருடைய ஊழல் காரணமாக அவர்கள் சரணடைந்து விட்டார்கள். அவர்களை வைத்து, அதிமுகவை வைத்து தமிழை, தமிழ் மண்ணை, தமிழ் கலாச்சாரத்தை முழுமையாக அழிக்க நினைக்கிறது பாஜக.
Please support the India Alliance, Congress Party, DMK and all parties in the alliance.
தயவு கூர்ந்து உங்களிடத்தில் கேட்கிறேன், உங்களுடைய ஆதரவை காங்கிரஸ் கட்சிக்கும் திமுகவிற்கும் இன்ன பிற கூட்டணி கட்சிகளுக்கும் உங்களுடைய பெருத்த ஆதரவை தர வேண்டும் என்று நான் கேட்கிறேன்.
And stop this assault by the RSS BJP.
RSS BJP ஆல் நடத்தப்படும் இந்த தாக்குதலை தடுத்து நிறுத்துங்கள் என்று உங்களிடத்தில் கேட்கிறேன்.
They want to crush the ideas of Periyarji.
அதேபோல் பெரியார் அவர்களுடைய கொள்கைகளை நாம் கொண்டு வர வேண்டும்.
They want to crush your model of development.
சொல்லப்போனால் அவர்கள் பெரியாரிய தத்துவங்களை நசுக்க பார்க்கிறார்கள்.
They want to destroy the idea of social justice.
அவருடைய சமூக நீதி கொள்கைகளை ஒன்றுமில்லாமல் அழிக்க பார்க்கிறார்கள்.
They want an India where 2 or 3 companies control everything.
2-3 கம்பெனிகளை தவிர வேறு யாரும் இங்கு இருக்கக்கூடாது என்பதற்கான ஒரு புதிய இந்தியாவை உருவாக்க நினைக்கிறார்கள்.
This is first an ideological battle and second a political fight.
முதன்மையாக இது ஒரு கொள்கைக்கான போர், அதற்கு பிறகுதான் இது ஒரு அரசியல் போர்.
It is coercion versus consensus. Coercion versus consensus.
Okay. நிர்பந்தத்திற்கும் ஒன்றுபட்டு செல்லக்கூடிய உணர்வுக்கும் மத்தியிலான போர் தான் இந்த போர்.
I'd like to thank all of you for coming here this morning.
இங்கு வந்தமைக்காக உங்கள் அனைவருக்கும் என்னுடைய பெரிய நன்றியை தெரிவித்துக் கொள்ள விரும்புகிறேன்.
And I want to assure you, no matter where I am, I have a special relationship with the people of Tamil Nadu.
நான் எங்கிருந்தாலும் தமிழ் மக்களின் மீது என்று எனக்கென்று ஒரு தனி விருப்பமும் தனி ஒரு உடன்பாடு இருந்து கொண்டே இருக்கும்.
And every single Tamil person, every Tamil person, regardless of which party he belongs to, knows that Rahul Gandhi is going to defend the Tamil language, Tamil history and Tamil culture and always be a partner of the Tamil people.
அவர் எந்த கட்சிக்காரராக இருந்தாலும், தமிழ்நாட்டில் இருக்கக்கூடிய எந்த கட்சிக்காரராக இருந்தாலும் தமிழை, தமிழ் மண்ணை, தமிழ் கலாச்சாரத்தை பாதுகாப்பதில் இந்த ராகுல் காந்தி எப்போதும் நிற்பார் என்பதை நீங்கள் புரிந்து கொள்ள வேண்டும் என்று.
Thank you very much, and please support our candidates. Congress workers, please support the DMK and other parties who are in our alliance, and DMK workers and workers of other parties in the alliance, please support the Congress candidates. Thank you. All the best wishes.
அனைவருக்கும் நன்றி. திமுகவை ஆதரியுங்கள், திமுக கூட்டணியை ஆதரியுங்கள்.
Get in the car, brother.
લંડન, પેરિસ, ન્યુયોર્ક આખી દુનિયા ફરી લીધી, પણ મારું મન તો અહીં જ લાગે છે સાઉથ મુંબઈમાં. પણ અહીં ઘણું કંજેસ્ટેડ છે. બિલ્ડિંગમાં પાર્કિંગ નથી, એમ્યુનિટીઝ અને ગાર્ડન તો દૂરની વાત છે.
એ કારણે જ we were drawn towards the Aga Hall estate where there are spacious homes. ડેવલપમેન્ટની અડધી જગ્યામાં તો ગાર્ડન છે, બચ્ચાઓને રમવાની ખૂબ જગ્યા છે, એન્ડ પ્લસ અ બ્યુટિફુલ યોગા સેન્ટર for the whole family.
સ્ક્વોશ કોર્ટ, જીમ, સ્વિમિંગ પૂલ એવી મલ્ટિપલ એમ્યુનિટીઝ પણ છે અને સર્વિસ એપાર્ટમેન્ટ પણ છે. જેમાં કોઈ ગેસ્ટ આવે તો રહી શકે અને લોકેશન તો એટલું સરસ છે કે 5 મિનિટમાં ઈસ્ટર્ન એક્સપ્રેસ હાઈવે ફ્રીવે અટલ સેતુ બધે પહોંચી શકાય છે હોસ્પિટલ સ્કૂલ મોલ્સ બધું જ અહીં છે
સાઉથ મુંબઈમાં રહેવું એટલે કોન્સ્ટન્ટ સેક્રિફાઈસ ગ્રીનરીમાં સ્પેસમાં ફ્રેશ એરમાં પણ અહીંયા નો સેક્રિફાઈસ ધ બેસ્ટ ઓફ ઓલ વર્લ્ડ્સ
અમે તો ખુશ છે કે ઘર અમે અહીં લીધું આ માત્ર ઘર નથી ઇટ્સ ધ વે ઓફ લાઈફ આ છે અમારા ઘરની વાત
Anna, you had a really interesting presentation at the meetup yesterday, and you decided to take the stripe.dev website and turn it into a retro website of GeoCities era. For people who don't know what GeoCities was, explain that and also what motivated you to do this.
Back in the 1900s, there was this lovely era of ad hoc websites in a directory called GeoCities that looked, I think, wonderful, but some might say terrible in their aesthetic, in that anything goes, it's bright colors, lots of scrolling marquees. It was a fun, different time, not so polished as today.
So why did you take the stripe.dev site, the beloved site of the DA team, and convert it to GeoCities?
Well, I was thinking, how quickly can I get fired? And, well, I should just ruin the perfectly good website that people spent so much time and effort on.
But you did actually have a very serious goal.
Yeah, no, the goal was if I can ruin this website and make a checkout flow that actually matches that aesthetic that is essentially a lack of aesthetic, if I can incorporate a checkout flow into that and make it look seamless, then anybody building a more normal website could then take that as an example and incorporate into theirs.
So what were your biggest challenges when you did this? Was it modifying the existing stripe.dev CSS and layout code, or was it working with payment element?
The CSS part was very fun because I just wanted to see how far I could push it. So it was a little bit challenging in that I wanted to just say, okay, this is ugly, but can it be uglier? And take that to its logical extreme. So that was a ton of fun. Working with payment elements was a challenge because I was new to the whole API and using the Stripe SDK, but thanks to our lovely docs, the actual process of incorporating it was not too bad. So it was a matter of deciding where in the page could I even add a checkout, since this is a content website, not a shop. So I made a hidden page called the Vibe Store, where you can buy some dev vibes in our demos now.
And actually, people watching this video can try it now on stripe.dev. How do they do that?
Yes. So go to stripe.dev, open the console, which you can just press C, or there's a little link in the top right, and type in theme set 90s-vibes. It's a hidden theme, but once you enter it, you will know if it's working. There's no way to not know. Once it's working, there's a new menu item called Vibes, and you just click on that, and it will take you to the Vibe Store.
And it's a really interesting example of doing something very extreme just to see how customizable the Stripe component really is. But were you surprised with the results?
I was surprised with how much I was able to style the elements, especially with the appearance object, and how flexible the appearance object is. It was really nice to see that you can style to, the padding of an input, that fine-grained. So you really have full control. That was really cool to see.
And I should mention you're a brand new developer advocate on our team, so you're really new to all of this. So what were your biggest challenges in learning how to use the various pieces of Stripe to pull it together, and how quickly were you able to build this?
I'd say the biggest challenge was first figuring out which options we have. And then figuring out specifically for payment elements, it was deciding whether to use the checkout sessions API or the payment intents API. The payment intents API was quite complicated, and in the end, I realized it was a little bit too advanced for my purposes because I really cared the most about the styling. I didn't need to mess with webhooks, for example. So the challenge was stopping before I over-engineered completely.
And so what would you recommend people start with if they're new to Stripe in terms of learning it quickly?
I'd say do the easiest step you can stop on. So if a link is enough, just use a payment link. It's good enough to start. Embedded checkout is fairly easy to set up. And again, unless you have very extreme styling needs like I did, it's probably going to be good enough. And then if a time comes that you need more options or you need webhook support, you have a whole team of engineers that are bored, then maybe it's time to look at the elements. But don't over-engineer it before you absolutely have to.
Well, it's fascinating to see what you built, and we're looking forward to seeing what websites you can destroy next. But in all seriousness, a really interesting way to implement Stripe in a sort of extreme way to show the possibilities. And your talk was fabulous. I recommend anybody watching that to take a look, and we'll put a link in the description. But thanks for joining us today, Anna.
Yeah, thank you.
This is straightforward drawn from the bill that has been proposed to the Parliament. I have, of course, disregarded the lovely statement made by ministers and the Prime Minister, because finally the parliamentary delimitation will take place, not on the basis of statements given by Parliamentary Affairs Minister. It will be based on the Constitution Amendment that's passed. And allow me to make a submission, which is different from what everyone is saying. South India will lose, this state will lose, BJP will benefit. For me, these are not the considerations.
Mr. Yogen Yadav, just want to understand, so it is your fear based on a cursory glance or a detailed, not cursory, but detailed glance of these proposed amendments, that you say that a former basis of or a previous basis of census used for delimitation is not going to be used, and a latest version, the latest available version, 2011, is going to be used.
रिलायंस ज्वेल्स का अक्षय तृतीय ऑफर, गोल्ड ज्वेलरी पे फ्लैट 9% मेकिंग चार्ज और डायमंड ज्वेलरी के गोल्ड पे 99% ऑफ। रिलायंस ज्वेल्स।
Hello and welcome. You're watching me, Sanket Upadhyay, on The Federal. The show is called AI with Sanket. This is the AI of news, because news in India today requires not artificial but analytical intelligence. In a bold move, the centre government proposed certain constitutional amendments. These amendments would, the government claimed, give reservation to women. Now, this is something nobody has an objection to. Of course, there was a lot being said about it being brought in just before the elections to impact the results in the elections in West Bengal and other states. However, in its proposed amendment, the central government proposed that the number of seats in the Lok Sabha be increased from 543 to 850, a more than 50% jump. Now, this was being seen as an effort where increased number of seats will be tied into women's reservation. That draft was read and studied by a lot of people, and during their cursory glance and then eventually a very detailed inspection, some people, and particularly some political parties from the South, saw that the point which becomes the basis for a delimitation exercise, 1970 were, that year is missing, which could perhaps lead to a situation where the South may not get proportional representation of increase in the number of seats when this delimitation exercise takes place. One such person was Mr. Yogendra Yadav. He went on record and he felt that this is not just anti-South or against the South Indian states, but he goes a step further to say that this could be a deliberate political ploy to increase the proportion of seats in states where the BJP has greater play. Is that really the case? What exactly is on the mind of Mr. Yogendra Yadav, and why does he believe in all these things? Why does he think that this move is less to do with women empowerment and more to do with BJP's politics? We speak to Mr. Yogendra Yadav in this exclusive interview. Joining us right now is Mr. Yogendra Yadav, who has written extensively on this new amendment which the government has proposed. And I'm measuring my words right now. These are amendments, a constitutional amendment which the government has proposed. It has not sailed through. But what is the proposal and what does it mean for the South Indian states? Yogendra Yadav has done a lot of calculation. Thank you very much, Mr. Yadav, for joining us. Would you like to tell our viewers, particularly viewers in the South Indian states, that is this a delimitation exercise by the back door?
Sanket, I would say this is a delimitation exercise from the front door. What is hidden about it? What is backdoor about it? I've been saying for some time that all this talk about women's empowerment, Nari Shakti Bandhan, all this is a Trojan horse, that actually what the government wants to do is to rush through delimitation exercise before the Lok Sabha election of 2029 because it feels somewhat insecure and it feels that unless it manages to do the tinkering that it wants, it may not come back to power. That is the essence of it. So, number one, it is not about women's reservation. Women's reservation is a very minor aspect of it. And if the government was serious about women's reservation, it could have simply done a one-line amendment in the Constitution, and women's reservation would have happened in 2029. You don't need a census for that. You don't need delimitation for that. It's a one-line affair. No, but that's not what it is about. It is about delimitation. And more than delimitation, it is about changing the